Welcome to the Musicians Exchange. Welcome to the Musicians Exchange podcast. We here with another episode. Today I have this is right here a unique episode for me. I feel like it's going to answer a lot of questions for a lot of people out there, male and female. This right here is the wives' perspective, musician wives' perspective to be exact. I got a few of my good friends here, and shout out to my guys for allowing their wives to come hang out and drop some knowledge for the next generation of young ladies and just musicians and married couples and dating couples and some of everybody, even the singles who are, curious about it. I'll let them introduce themselves.
My name's Alicia Blount. I am the wife of drummer and musician Kinsby Blount. We've been married for 8 years, and we've been knowing each other and together for 11 years. And I just want to thank you for having me here today.
Indeed.
Hi, my name is Melissa Carr, wife of Daniel Carr, who's musician also. And we've been married for 14 years now, together for 18 years.
Wow. And this last one, who are you?
My name is Michelle Norwood. I am the wife of drummer extraordinaire Eric Norwood. We've dated for this year will be 10 years, and we've been married for 3 of those years. I'm glad to be here too with my friends Melissa and Alicia.
Indeed. So I appreciate y'all coming out, like I said, man. And this episode will be a little bit different, but I'm a little nervous because y'all are women, and at the end of the day, I still want y'all to be y'all, be who you are, and just give the truth, for the next generation and have fun with it. And my wife, she's also going to take over the, this episode. She's going to host it.
Yeah.
Y'all pray. But, go ahead. I mean, jump right in. Yeah, go ahead.
All right, so let's get to it. One of the hard questions that a lot of people ask: how do you all balance work life and supporting your husband with his music career and that musician's lifestyle?
I can tell you this. I know people say it's cliche and people will laugh at me, I'm sure, if they know me on this and hear it. But the real truth is prayer. Because sometimes some of the stuff that your husband will have to do or go out or whatever he's got going on, you may not want that. You may want his time. And so I think you just have to pray, because you need patience and you need wisdom to know how to deal with those situations. But I think you also have to understand that you married somebody who has a love for this thing, just like they love you. So you have to also be willing to love it with them and allow them to grow in it. So they have to go out and do stuff.
Right. I mean, to piggyback off Melissa, she's absolutely right. Like, I know when I started dating Ken in the beginning, and he was in music and doing his music thing, and when I saw him in music, I saw a light in him, like she said, a love for music. And I knew then, as we continue to date, I could either support that light and help that light shine, or I could dampen that light and not support him. And so you have to make a decision. And if you're going to be with them, you have to be willing to support them in what they do. And you have to, like she said, pray, know God, and trust. Trust him to go do what he said he's doing. I trust him. When he's going to gig, you got to have trust. When they're having 1, 2, 3 a.m. gigs, if I didn't trust him, then it would be hard for me to allow him to do that. So you have to trust that they're doing what they said they're going to do, and have faith in God that he's going to protect them, because they're out in different atmospheres. So, trust.
Yeah, and I don't know if you all do the same thing, but I also try to infuse it in our lives too, so it's not such a hard job in balancing,
right,
other life and musician life. I go to the gigs with them.
Yes,
sometimes if I have time, I'm sitting in a rehearsal, giving
right.
feedback, or up here while he's playing. And so I know that has helped a lot, and I think that has also increased his love for me, because I have a love for his craft, and like you
Right.
said,
Yeah.
seeing that light in him, I think he appreciates that too.
Yeah.
I mean,
I agree.
I mean, it's a team effort too. Like you
Mm-hmm.
said, I know it's times Ken has a gig, 8:00. Well, you know what? I come home, dinner's already done.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so the kids, you know, they're ready to eat. He's out for his gig. That's cool. It's a team effort. He knows that I have to come home and take care of them, so he's already done this part of it. So just being mindful of each other, you know, is a big help as well.
That's real. I mean, not to even interrupt, but that just goes to say, if you're gonna be a musician, there are things you're gonna do in your downtime that you're supposed to help out at the house. Whether you cutting the
Right.
grass, taking the girls to school, taking the boys to school, getting their haircuts, make the life easier for your wife, when she gets home or whatever, so you can go out and do your job. It's an all around job. So for both of you, but I think that's dope.
And one other, well, to piggyback off of that question, you talked about time, and before we even started, how do you all still make time for each other, and with the marriage life, how do you still make time for each other?
So it was when you were talking, it made me think about that. You were talking about going out to the gigs with him and stuff like that. So I realized that when we get married, you have to realize that it's everybody's responsibility to take part in the marriage. Mm-hmm. And so sometimes we get into a place where we're like, it's your job too, it's your job too, it's my job too, and vice versa. But the thing of the matter is that if you want to spend time with your husband, or you want to spend time with your wife, it goes both ways, then you make that time sometimes. I realized that I would say, he's not giving me time. I want to do this. He's got to go play somewhere. He's got to do this. He's got to do that. So guess what I did? I would get in the car and go to the gigs. And I'm like, so I'm with him, so I'm getting the time, because a lot of times we wouldn't have the kids, and I do have kids, so that's also another dynamic.
How many kids do y'all have?
How many?
How many?
5.
That's Melissa with 5. Alicia, how many do you have?
2.
2. All right, so we're really balancing.
Look, 5, 2.
Yeah. So, you go to those gigs again, and so now you're creating the time. I'm not saying it's going to be clear cut and all the exact ways. It's not the bells and whistles that you want, but what you want essentially is the time. So you're getting that when you go to the gigs. And then the same thing with you, whatever your interests are, maybe he doesn't want to be there, but his support. So I think the biggest thing you could give each other is support in there.
I feel like, inside of the balance, on the way to the gig, like you said, I agree with that. Hey, Sheldon came with me to gigs sometimes, most of the time. And then, we can have more fun going to the gig and coming from the gig than actually on the gig.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Babe,
The
look,
conversation.
we had fun.
Right.
We did. I did what I had to do. We made our bread. We cut up. Look, going home, we both tired. You feel me? So
Right.
that's still
Netflix
spending
and chill
time.
now.
Right. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
Right.
Cool. And so I, on the flip side of that, where we are going to gigs and, enjoying what our husbands are doing, sometimes it's not appealing to all wives, or even for our female musicians, husbands. Sometimes, they're not musically inclined, or they're just not interested in that. What advice do you have for that person who's like, this is not my interest, but I still want to support? What advice do you have? What ideas do you have?
I mean, I think you still have to support them, right? Because this is their craft. This is what they love. You still have to support them. But my advice would probably be more so for the husbands, the spouses, the guys in the relationship, is a big thing that I have found that Ken has done over the years is recognizing when I need time for us outside of that.
Yeah.
Like you've given that, but now she needs some time and she needs some attention outside of this, and just recognizing that in me. And yes, we're women, so we get a little attitude, or we do a little this or a little that, but it's knowing your spouse enough to recognize that and say, hey, you know what, baby, we're gonna go out this weekend and we're gonna do something that you want to do. So, I think the wives still have to support the husband, but I think the husband also has to recognize things in their wife so that they're giving them what they need outside of music. Yeah.
I feel like, and I don't want to be chiming in on every question.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm just saying. I feel like it's dope because it's like a give and take. Where, look, hey, I'll go to one of your hair shows. you kind of one of my gigs. It's a compromise. You know, you would be surprised the networking that you get. There's been plenty of times I went with my wife to, you know, her school, not her school, but her job, and a good amount of her coworkers know me, you know, from playing in the area or playing at different venues. So it's always a networking situation. It's always a networking situation for both of us, you know. So look, my wife do hair, throw the plug in there, and you know, and still just have a good time. So I think it's dope. Back to you, Michelle.
Cool. So, fun question. What is one way that your life has improved being married to a musician?
Good question.
That is I think for me, growing up, I grew up kind of like play singing. You know, you sing in the whatever. But I think being with a musician, but you know, you go in choir because your mom makes you be in the choir at church and all that other stuff, or you might go to college and you go to gospel choir. But then being married to a musician, it's like, what are you doing with that note? That's not even okay. It's not right.
Right.
And you know it. So what are you doing? You've been singing. Why do you know? So it's stuff like this. So it improves how you sing too, because I think you think about it more because you know he can hear it. They have ears more than wrong. And so, you know, I remember I used to be like, Dad, I sung that so bad. When I get home, he's going to tell me about my stuff. So I think it's improved. It helped me improve musically because I listen more, you know. And then we love music. Both of us have always loved music. So I think my life has improved because he's opened it to different genres. Like I grew up Southern Baptist. So I grew up with like hymns, the Easter cantata. I didn't do like, you know. But when I got to college and I met him and he came along, I was like, oh, this is it? Oh, snap, we could shout? That's what we do. So that, you know, it was different. I felt like I got reintroduced to another world of music and just different styles, too. So, yeah.
For me, I cannot sing.
Oh, wow.
But I do love music. I mean, I've played instruments. I've played clarinet. I dabble with the saxophone just a little bit. But like Melissa was saying, for me, he just kind of reintroduced and opened music up to be more than just what's on the surface. Different genres. You know, I love to hear music. He'll play different things and, you know, stuff that I haven't heard, stuff that I have heard. So he just kind of opened it up into a different world. And I agree. I can't sing, but I hear a note and I'll be like, ooh, baby. No, right. So just kind of open it up to, you know, a different world.
Yeah. And I think it's good to talk about the ways that they've positively influenced your lives because I hear a lot of people talk about the struggles sometimes of being married to a musician or, you know, like the craziness of the life and, you know, the busyness, the hustle and bustle. And I feel like for being married to Eric, his hustle has actually like improved my life a lot.
Yes.
Right.
I don't know that I would have went to hair school. I don't know that I would have like a little mini hair studio downstairs. I don't know that I would be doing those things. I always loved those things, but Eric's the one like, nah, I get that money. And I'm like, okay. Or I can hear his voice and, you know, in the back of my mind when I'm doing different things and, you know, it encourages me to like, Michelle, you can actually do what you want to do. And it's going to be hard sometimes, but you can push yourself. So I think that has really been good being with Eric over time.
Yeah. They have a hustle.
Right, they do. And to put a plug in there, it helps that they know other musicians, okay? So let me put the plug out there for the husbands. There's been several times where Ken has come through with a full band in my living room to celebrate. Or, you know, a guitar player that meets me at the gazebo for our anniversary. You know, just small things that, you know, it helps that they know other musicians and they get things done. Okay? So that's definitely a plus and a positive.
Yeah.
And that's also one of the things of like, you know, you love your husband, but you gotta love his boys too. Yes. You know, you gotta love his friends too. And I think that is what I love as well. You know, Eric wasn't just a package. Like his friends, his musicians, when he's shedding, I'm there too. Those are my brothers. You know, it's a family, and I love that a lot too. And so it's good.
And I'm gonna put this out there too. always loved quartet music.
Oh, God.
But I remember when I was dating Daniel, that was a lot of the stuff. I used to go with him to those gigs, and he used to do so many quartet shows.
Daniel.
And we would be there. We used to love. So I was like, yeah, quartet. So now I'm a quartet fan too, so I go to his quartet stuff too. Yeah, see?
That's what's up.
I want to throw a light question in there. We don't want to go so heavy back and forth, But do you go with so I'm assuming that you all go with your husbands to their gigs. Some of them, not all of them. Do you know the difference, or do you pay attention to their particular instrument? Not like, oh, my husband plays drums or he plays keys. Do you know what the parts of the instrument are? Like a sustain pedal, what's a hi-hat stand? Alicia, like if Ken asks you, what's a hi-hat stand?
Yes, I know where the hi-hat is, where the tom is, where the snare is, where the kick is. Yes.
Okay.
And I'm glad I don't have to lift it all the time. That's
All the time.
some
Look, so
heavy
you do
stuff.
help out.
Sometimes I do,
That's
yes.
what's up.
Loading and unloading equipment.
That's what. Wow. What?
Yeah. Especially when he's not getting it out fast enough and I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
Eric had a gig one time. I think it was at Riverside. He had a gig, and we were packing up stuff, and that stuff is heavy.
Yes.
I found this random grocery cart outside in the parking lot.
Shopping cart.
Y'all, I rolled up in there with that grocery cart, and we put all the drums in there, and we put just one trip.
Right.
It was good.
It's heavy. I have a respect for drummers because they have a lot of heavy equipment.
Yeah, that's real.
It
It is
is.
heavy.
Even you, Mel, how you feel about it? What parts? Like I know Dane plays keys.
He plays keys. He started out on drums, so I know some parts, but I'm going to be honest with you. I never paid attention to parts like that. I was just like, this is heavy. What's this called? This is this. What's this called? And he would tell me the different parts, but I never really pay attention to it. Foot pedal, I got you on that.
Okay.
I got you on the snare. I got you
Sustain.
on the
Oh,
hi-hat.
drums. Yeah.
Yeah,
Cool.
because I like drums.
Oh.
So I pay attention. Because I'm going to be a female
Okay.
musician. I'm going to be a drummer.
You got a set, you know, we
I'm
going
going
out
to find it. Don't worry about it.
There it goes. I mean, and show. Let me see if it's.
already know,
Let me
I
see.
know.
I don't
You
know. I'm about to
know.
test you.
I know,
She
but-
know a few. Nah, we're not gonna go to the regular where you put your eyes in. I'm not saying no discredit
I
to
know
y'all
the
either.
Splash, the Ozone, the Floor Tom, the 14-inch. You know, I got
Yo,
it.
what's up,
Drum
what's up,
heads,
what's
got to
up,
change
yeah.
them out.
Right.
I know.
Those drum heads.
Thank you. The different brands of snares, porcupine, pig,
Oh,
whatever. you
what's a time mount?
know, where you mount the tom? What do you mean?
What does that mean? What is it?
You know,
What is it typically shaped like?
Alicia know, Melissa know.
I
Oh man.
Electric, acoustic. Yo, we got the words now.
Oh.
Don't. We got a band over here.
Right.
Hit that note. Go ahead. Alicia.
know. No.
Oh, that's dope. That's dope, man. Like, well, she seems like y'all got y'all parts. That's cool. I got a real question. I ain't even. I'm like, it just hit me honestly. Would you encourage musicians or couples that are one is a musician? Would you encourage them to get married? Like, would you? Hey, yo, it's gonna be alright. Just a straight, yes, no, or take your time.
I would say yes. I think it's different being married to different people anyway, so I think it's the same thing as any other marriage, except our husband plays an instrument and they may travel, but their husband might be a basketball player, or their husband might be a business person who travels all the time. So those same factors that come in any relationship, any marriage would still be there. So I would say you go ahead and it'll be okay. And you guys put those things in your relationship that matter, create the balance, create the open communication with each other that would set you up to be okay no matter what your situation is.
Exactly. Well said.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to have a good foundation no matter what. So regardless of what they're doing, whether they're a musician, like Melissa said, whatever they're doing, you still have to have a good foundation. So I would not let, them being a musician stop me if that's the one factor, because, the enemy's going to attack no matter
Either
what
way.
they're doing.
Come on.
So,
There you go.
you just got to have a good foundation there.
Yeah, and I believe though being married to a musician, it will test a lot of the things that, you know, you may get tested with in life, but, you know, it's a little bit closer to you, a little bit more personal. And I think it also builds character in a different way that I've seen other stuff or other people I've interacted with. And so it definitely tests me sometimes, you know, when Eric is out at a gig, you know, he's like, yo, it's lit out here. Like, I'm having a good time. And I'm like, tell me more about this good time.
Right.
You know, especially if I can't go. But it does help develop my trust, you know, in my husband and what he's doing. Or, you know, I know before we started, like, recording, you were talking about how you're trusting in, you know, he's going to handle what he needs to handle and take care of home. And so that helps build my confidence in my husband and my man who is my provider. And so I think that definitely it will test you in different ways, but it will grow your marriage and grow the strength of your marriage in different ways too.
And, you know, I agree 100%. I appreciate, you know, y'all even taking the time to understand where we coming from when y'all, you know, join, you know, union with us, or, you know, even just consider dating, you know. But my thing is just like, even with musicians, sometimes we had this running joke where it used to be like, you know, when we was all 100% out for our instrument, hey, she ain't with me being a musician, it ain't gonna work. You know what I mean? Like, oh, it's drums over everything, bro. But I mean, once you mature as a musician, you realize there's more to life, and you can still get what you want, and it may be blessed. You literally find favor when you get married to you know what I mean? When you find your wife or your husband, not your husband, but, you know, it's a blessing, you know, when you look, somebody else gonna help you with your dreams,
right?
And vice versa. You never know, you know. So I feel like a lot has came to me being married, you know.
Yes, say it again.
I feel like a lot has came to me being married, but, you know, I feel like more has came to me being married rather than me just being by myself.
Right.
You know, even with times where, you know, she'll be my piece where I want to flip out, or, you know, at the gig or whatever, we looking in the audience, we don't see nobody. Yeah, my girl there, my wife there, you know. Look, I know who gonna help me carry my gear at the end of the day if I don't, you know. So, I mean, I feel like it's a blessing all together. So it's nothing to be scary about it and whatnot.
Yeah, and I think that's something I would say, you know, on the wife's side or the spouse who is married to the musician, you're not gonna find anybody as loyal. Like, I mean,
they loyal to the instrument. That mean there's a great deal of.
No, I'm talking about.
I'm
the
saying
wife
that
is
mean
loyal
it's
to the husband, to the musician.
My bad. Look.
Like, we, you
yeah.
know, carrying stuff. The
We
food's
down
cooked,
for you,
the
right?
We
Right.
iron your clothes,
Right.
Like, we are there. You know, you traveling. I'm just,
yo.
you know,
Nah, you good.
Sorry.
Nah, you good.
No.
Go ahead.
But
No,
I mean, it's real. So I mean, I talk about the great things that comes from being married to a musician, but also, you know,
Having a
sometimes
good
you
woman, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Good.
How do y'all, another question, how do y'all handle finances? You know, you ain't gotta go super into detailed numbers, but, you know, I know people want to know that. I know young ladies want to know, you know, how do you show your husband or your boyfriend you mean business, you know, when it comes time? You know, how do y'all handle that?
So I was thinking about that, and it made me go to times when we didn't have for something else, for anything. It could have been food, it could have been bills, it could have been whatever the case was. And my thing is, those are those tester times, right? Mm-hmm. So who are you in those moments? If you are already a support, then you're a support. If you already believe that your husband is the priest, the provider, and the protector, then you know that automatically he's going to do that. If you're having issues there, then fundamentally that's a discussion that you guys need to have. But if you know that in those times when finances are the thing, you sit down and you budget and you say, well, babe, we're going to do this. You got gigs, so you know you're going to get paid off the gigs. We're going to put this gig money for this. Or maybe it's going to invest back into his equipment. Right. But I think you have to, just like anything else, if you're going to buy a house, you have to be together on that decision-making process and be clear and communicate about it. I don't think you should, as a husband, just go out and buy maybe equipment and don't say nothing to your wife about it.
So what's the price limit? Not to cut you up. I'll wait for you. Go ahead, Alicia. You got it.
Nah.
And then I ask that. Yeah,
okay. I mean, the only thing that I have to add to that, I mean, it does come up when you're a musician, you're a musician's wife or whatnot, and that's, you know, a source of income for them. Right. You know, So it does come up. My thing would be, and what I've seen over the years, and I've grown over the years in our marriage, is that I am a straight to the point, 9 to 5, know when the checks are rolling in kind of person. That's how I've been my life. So when I get with someone, and musicians aren't 9 to 5, and the checks aren't coming in on the 15th of every month. Yeah, and so the checks aren't coming in, on the 15th of every month, but just having that trust in him as my, protector, my provider, the head of our household, and also having that trust in God. I mean, that strengthens our union. Like, God, you know what? Let me put me aside and what I'm used to, and, I'm used to 9 to 5, and, I trust you. I trust that you're going to allow him to provide for us. And so that not only strengthened our marriage, but it also strengthened my relationship with God. You know what I'm saying? And so it's a big thing. You have to have faith and trust that he's going to do what he said he's going to do, and he's going to take care of you. And just, let go of the control kind of thing. If you're one of those people, let go of the control. Because I'm one of those people, and it's a struggle.
It's not easy. I agree.
Right.
Wow. It gets better.
It do.
Because I think every year of marriage, every disagreement, if you disagree correctly, you'll learn from it.
Wow.
Right.
And what you learn is that it's not just me in this relationship. It's me and him. And I think when we can, just like you want to be considerate of others, your girlfriends, your boys, whatever, he's a whole person. You should be considerate of him. He's got to be considerate of you. You know what I'm saying? So I think if you guys communicate what your finances look like to your relationship, because it's different for everybody, then that's the conversation you have. This is what I want. I'm comfortable when I know the bills are paid. You can get whatever music equipment you want. Maybe that's that woman's comfort level. So I think you just have to make sure, as long as you guys are taking care of what you need to take care of together, then.
And I feel like, to be straight up, I agree 100%. And it's like, if my gift, God lent me or whatever, is paying our bills, that doesn't mean you automatically bring you lead to your household, but that we still equal. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, I mean, some other musicians may feel different. They may not agree with what I'm saying, but like you said, everybody else runs their house different. You feel me? I value my wife's opinion. I don't just automatically brush off. It's not necessarily whatever I say goes. It's whatever makes the most sense. You know what I mean? What's right? You know what I mean? We got to be honest with ourselves. Don't be out here, leading your wife down in the ditch. You know what I mean? You fall on your own and get up. Like, so, at the end of the day, and she gonna be there to help you.
Yep.
So I agree with the finances. It matters. It definitely matters if that's the only thing you're doing. I've always had a 9 to 5, or not necessarily always. I've even worked 2 part-times or part-time at a time and gig and stuff like that. And my wife, I'm the type of person where I don't like lack. I like multiple streams of income. I have that hustle mentality, just as well as a bunch of other people. And my thing was always like, look, I'm not worried about it. We're gonna get it. I got with my wife. One of the things that I seen in her, she likes to save money. She would save a penny. I knew she was supposed to be my girl when she didn't like movies. She liked Redbox. I said, I ain't gonna have to spend no money.
I like movies now.
And she like movies now. She like McCormick's and whatever. But at the end of the day, it was just like, yo, she's teaching me some stuff that I can apply with mine, and I can still hustle, but at the same time, it just gotta make sense.
Right.
And when you get gig money and your bills already paid, like Mel said, if you want to get that a piece of equipment, get your equipment, or take your wife out. Surprise her, here's some money. It's been a time where I had my wife, I got 2 drum sets or 3 drum sets, and I had to go play at a gig, but I also rented out a drum set to one of my boys. My wife had to go pick up my drums for me. I wasn't gonna make it there in time, but what I did in turn was give her half of the money. She pretty much drum tech for me, you know what I mean? Like, but the fact that she knew what to do, get this money, get this equipment, and then talk to this person to get the money. I trusted her with it, and it was a plus of us being married, and she trusting it. Because what if she didn't trust me as a musician or with my finances? We wouldn't even got that far.
Right.
I don't know a lot of musicians who do that. So
And I think that was good when you mentioned trust, because I was thinking that it's a trust factor for sure. Because I remember my husband said something to me that helped to open my eyes and this was dealing with the kids. It wasn't even, about music, but it was, I don't always necessarily agree with the method that how he may handle them, because I'm mommy, so I'm always like, my baby. But I may not always agree with the method. But he's like, but look, if you trust that I'm not doing anything in my heart to harm my children, that I love them and I wouldn't do anything to hurt them, then you have to understand that everything that I'm doing is strategic and is really for their good. And so I think if you can apply that to all the parts of your relationship, with your musician husband, then you can understand that too. Like, I'm out here, I might be out here, he's been out 2, 3, 4 in the morning, sometimes the next day, and okay, you're coming back, that's it. But I sleep.
So, I was thinking about this earlier. You're exactly right. Like, when you have trust in the that's a big plus. When you have trust, when he goes out and gig, I go to sleep. Now, I might wake up and be like, okay, he ain't here yet. Let me shoot him a little text, see what's going on. But then after that, I'm asleep, and that's just the trust in him and the trust in God that I have. Like, I'm at peace with it, So you have to be in a good place in your relationship.
You're not hawking his social media and none of that.
I'm asleep now,
I mean, my thing too is that, like anything in life, you can't who wants to spend their life babysitting?
Right.
Seriously. Like, no, we're 2 grown adults in a relationship. Life is too short. I want to enjoy it.
Right.
So it's not fun to sit there going through my husband's phone.
No.
Like, who is he hugged up on? Who he take a picture with?
Right.
It's okay.
If you're doing this, you're not ready to get married.
Yeah, look, there you go. There you go.
Not to a musician or anything.
Let alone to a musician.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, because they're around, like you mentioned this earlier, they are around everybody all the time. They're around girls who are cute, real pretty, nice bodies,
Real
all
cute.
that.
No, I'm playing.
Yeah, you really playing.
Right.
I've been married
All of that
years,
stuff.
I ain't,
Right.
all them years,
They're
I ain't got
around
there
that.
yet.
But they're around that, because you got some, and then they're musicians. So I remember I used to struggle with, dang, she could sing and she's like, looks like that, and he got to go play behind her.
Right.
So, but then after a while, I'm like, but who cares? Because you married me.
Right.
But
If he wanted that, he could have married her.
I promised I joked with someone the other day though, and I was like, all these women, they could want my husband, but at the end of the day, are you gonna carry those jumps to the car? Or are you gonna be ready to iron these clothes?
Does he want them?
Yeah, and different
Because I'm sure
You're
he's
right.
passed them. Maybe not in this moment in time, but I'm sure he's seen them. He's not blind because he got married. You know what I'm saying? So it's the same thing. Just like us, we're women too. We see cute men, fly men all the time, and you're like, oh, okay. But I mean, at the end of the day, I'm like, yeah, no, you're not going.
Right.
Those men can sing, those men can play instruments and stuff, but my eye is on you, Eric.
Right.
So y'all pretty much answered. What's up? Y'all pretty much answered my question. Well, my next question was gonna be,
Well, I wanted to say one thing
What's
about
up?
the finance one, because I mean, people's money is different, but
Yes.
I know Eric and I started dating when I was 20 and you were 19. We
Cougar.
started dating. We've been. He's where
Y'all babies.
crazy. Yes, and so we started dating, and I didn't have a lot of money, and I used to buy him stuff on like Valentine's Day or his birthday, things that I thought he needed, for life. And he'd be like, no, I want things that I want. And I would see that there would be different instruments or pieces of the instrument that he needed. And one day I was like, I would just start getting him different types of drum equipment that I know he needs for those holidays or special occasions. And that is the way that I was able to, save my money up until those holidays, still get him what he wants and gift him. And I just wanted to put that out there, that's just one way that you can, kill two birds with one
One
stone,
stone.
you know, and
Yes.
also like not burn a hole in your pocket, but also make your man happy. That's just one way that I do it, and it has worked for
That's
us.
actually good.
Is exactly right. You can never go wrong with getting a musician, a music gift card, or a
the win.
piece of equipment. They want that. Trust
Father's
me.
Day. Bam.
I'm telling
Got
you.
it.
Trust
It
me.
ain't
That
no
is what
question.
they want.
What to get them? It's not a question.
It's not a question.
And what you don't do, don't go out and buy what brand you think they want.
I won't.
My lovely wife, it's like, yeah, I'm gonna get you some green or purple drumsticks. What brand? Oh, nah, they purple. It don't. Nah. You know.
See?
But I did good the last time.
Even-
you get the gift card,
Yeah,
and you
gift
let
card.
him go and
Or the friend,
Are
you know,
you-
get your friend,
Yeah,
his
right.
friend to help,
This
and
where it
shout
ties
out
in.
to my brother Marcus.
Yeah.
You know,
Like-
because she almost got me the wrong drum set. We was gonna take it right back. You know, because I don't let my wife get taken advantage of. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
This
that
this
happens
kid,
to me.
she bought me a Time Star Classic, and I'm not materialistic at all. But you know, she got me what I wanted. She took the time. I appreciate the effort, and you know, some stuff she didn't know fully to the details. So she would have got kind of, nah, man, that ain't what we get. That's not, you know.
right.
So you know, but my boys, you know, they helped out, and it just worked out. It was a
Shout out to
blessing.
John. One time
Yeah.
told me get the stick bag, like what brand to get. You know, they.
Oh yeah.
Fellas, get married, bro, because when it came
Stick
time, all of
bags,
that,
the drum bags,
Yeah.
the
I turn
new
around.
Yes.
cymbals.
Yeah.
I turn. Whoa, you get a wife to buy cymbals. You be buying Ken cymbals?
I have.
You know.
I have.
Shell.
So
I'm playing,
next
I'm
question.
playing. Because I mean, that stuff, like I said, man, that stuff is not cheap. Some of the
It's
stuff
not.
I would not have purchased on my own. Like a hardware bag for years, yo. Either
Yes.
a suitcase or a golf bag. I know Ken had a golf bag. You know what I mean? I seen my bro Ken with a hardware bag. So, oh.
Yeah.
And then, you know, my wife turned around, surprised me with one. She, you know, from the drum set, and it's just like, yo, well, what did I buy? You know, so it's a blessing. Like, fellas, don't be scared to get married, bro. It's a blessing. Like,
I know that Melissa, you had talked about the trust piece, and we touched on it a little bit, but just kind of want to hear from both of you all for people who may have lost trust, or for a musician who maybe has stepped out or done something to like abuse that trust. How do you help that wife come back to it, or how does that, you know, how do you encourage the wife to stick with it or give him a second chance?
Right. So, you know, I haven't experienced this firsthand, so I can't really, you know, speak fully on it. But I would say it would have to be both of them. The husband, there might be some gigs that you just can't do. If your wife is not comfortable there
That's right.
yet, if she's not back there yet, it might be some gigs that you have to turn down for your marriage. And I think it's not just with musicians and gigs and those kind of things. I think it's period. If it's, you know, if someone has stepped outside of the marriage, you're going to have to build that trust back up. And that might be saying no to some things that you really want to say yes to, and putting your wife first to help get you back to where you need to be.
it's real.
I would say I couldn't have said any better. I think you have to spend time, like when anything is broken, it takes time to fix. So I think you have to spend the time putting those pieces back together. If that's counseling for you all, if that's talking to you, a good friend couple, if it's whatever you need to do, I think you have to spend time. I think then your musicianship becomes secondary to your relationship. So you know you have a love for music and it's your baby, but if your wife is who God called her to be, then the role should be the God first, then your family. And so she's supposed to be the next in line. So then, or he, if it's the other way around. But I think you need to take time to mend that before you even try to go on anywhere else.
Yeah.
Right.
That's real.
You got any advice for musician friends
About
on what they could do to help build that trust back?
have your wife with you at every gig. If your flesh weak, bro, come on, bro, don't do it. I mean, it's just common sense. Yo, and I'm gonna be very honest with y'all, just like I am in front of my wife. You know what I mean? Like I tell her straight up, I'm gonna speak the truth. You know, we fellas, we are men. We are creatures of our eyes. You know what I mean? We gonna see stuff. Like y'all said, oh, she can sing. We see the same thing y'all see. You feel me? But nah, bro. We got homies that's accountable, and you know, we can laugh and joke all day. At the end of the day, nah, don't cross that line, bro. Like, don't even jump out there. Like, get your equipment, let's go, we out.
Right.
You know what I mean? Hold you
Right.
accountable. Like, I don't even play like that, to be honest with you. Like, nah, I'm good. If it even crossed my mind, hey, yo, you tripping. You ain't for real. You just talking, bro. Like, do the hit, go home. But I wouldn't encourage you to put yourself in situations like that. If you know you got weak flesh or you can't control yourself, you should be able to. But, and my thing, even with that, God can't put you even further where you want to be. If you want to go on the road, you can't even handle yourself at home.
Right.
It's a wrap.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, like, have respect for yourself. Have respect for your wife, your marriage, bro. Yeah. And I ain't even talking that whole, you just taking over for the women. Nah, it's straight up. You know what it is. Like, I don't respect it. Homies that, that jump out there and, like, you want me to hold you accountable. Nah, bro. You did that. I got a conscience. I'm different. You know what I mean? I got a conscience. So, it's like, bro, either I can say something or, it's going to come out later some way, somehow, so. Or it's just going to build a stronger... demon or whatever you want to call it.
Right.
But just take it easy. And if something like that did happen, it's a conversation.
Yeah.
And work slowly from there on.
Yeah.
Invite her.
I think too, you have to, whoever the person was, I think you have to examine your own character too, because what did you want to see? Because you got married, so you love the person.
Right.
So what did you want to see the two of you do together? Because I think if you're gonna get married, and you're musicians out there who haven't got married yet, look at your potential spouse and say, what purpose do we have together? Because that is the purpose that's, no matter what's going on in your marriage, is going to hold you together anyway. So what you have to do is look at your purpose, and you got to decide, you know what did I do, and how does my character, how can I show my character to my wife? Let her know and understand that, I know that our purpose is to, help other marriages. I know our purpose is to raise these children or do whatever it is. I know our purpose is to be musicians and have this podcast. So here's what we're going to do. We are going to sit down, and I'm going to do the work for me, because I think you have to examine, well, what took me to that place? Why did I need to step out on my wife or my husband? I know we're talking about wives, so we'll go with husbands. Why did I step out on my wife? What caused me to go there? Because you don't just up and go there. You know what I mean? It could be a lack
alcoholic
of
drink
something
at the gig.
At the gig, it could be it could have been intoxication.
Like,
it could have been I'm not getting enough sex. It could be there's different things that are happening, and they've been happening for some time. So the thing is to now think, what are those things that bothered me that I didn't communicate to her that caused me to go where I didn't need to be?
Have you all ever feel like you have kind of lost yourself in like the work that your musician husband is doing, or felt like you needed to find what works for you? What is your interest? Has that been a thing?
Yes, definitely. I for me, yes. Not necessarily with him and his craft. He has his craft.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But it's your wife, your mother, you have a job, you have all these hats, and it's like, okay, what do I have for me? Yeah. What is my own? What am I doing for me? For you, you have your hair. Keep doing that. Right. When kids come along and things get busy, they will. Keep that. So it's just finding something that's yours and making time for that. And sometimes it's easy to get lost. You might get lost for a couple of years, but whatever it is, make sure you come back to that, because that's something that's you. That's Alicia. It's easy to get lost in all the hats, and it's not just being there for him. They have their thing. You know what I'm saying? And they're gonna always have that. But just finding what's for you, doing something for you. I don't care what it is. Just find something for yourself, because it is easy to get lost. And I've experienced that and been looking in the mirror one day like, oh God, what am I doing for me? You know what I'm saying? What am I doing for me?
I mean, and stay attractive by doing it. Like, yo, she's balancing this joint. Like, she's not my 5 o'clock shadow everywhere.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't have anything to add. That's it right there. You will get lost. You do. Yeah. And again, like she said, it wasn't even, I don't even think it was in the, because I enjoyed it, his work. He was happy. He was good. But even when he's working, he's enjoying it. because that's his love. I'm sure if he's in here preparing for a gig, it's still fun.
Yeah.
Regardless, though, it's you're preparing for a
Right.
job,
Right,
but it's still fun. So they have their outlet, and I think a lot of times that's where we get messed up, because we are called to be their support system, so we don't really think for ourselves. We think for them. And it's the same, like she said, you think for all those hats that you wear. And then, so you do have to, I'm just coming to the place where I'm like, I'm going to go get my master's in psychology. That's it.
Right, yes.
That's what I want to do.
Yes, definitely.
So, but it took me till now, you know what I mean? Because I was lost in everywhere else. So yeah, you got to make sure you just try to stay focused on the things you've always loved that put you where you are, and keep them, like she said.
Yeah, and I think it's good to do that and find that, because you can also, being lost in what he's doing, you can gain resentment, or you can start to resent him and what's happening, and that's really not what you, that's not even what you were really signing up for. Yeah, it wasn't your intention, but you know, if you don't have that, and then he's not giving you the time that you think he should, you know, you got to find a way to fill that void for you, so that you can get energized to be able to meet together. Because you're right, he's always gonna have that love for his instrument. You gotta have yours too.
And I think this is just for the husbands out there. You have to recognize when your wife is getting to that point. And for the husbands that know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. She's on the verge of flipping out on everybody in the house. Okay? And you know, I'm gonna give a shout out to my husband, because over the years he's learned when I'm close to that point. And that's when he says, baby, you know what? Go on and get your nails done. Baby, you know what? Go on out, call up your girls and see if y'all go out to eat or something. You know what I'm saying? When he feels me, when he feels me getting to that point. So you have to pay attention to, don't be so far in your craft that you're not taking care of home. Because home does need to come first. You know.
So since we taking care of home, has Ken or Daniel ever canceled on a date night for a gig?
Of course. We're married to musicians.
Wow. So how did y'all handle that? Because I know I'm trying to do.
You better take me out somewhere even better.
There you go.
Next weekend, okay?
Look.
Go make that money, and then we're going out next weekend.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm like, give me some of that money when you get home.
Right.
Like, make up for it.
Mad as fire. But not really.
The truth is,
mad as fire. Like, where we have created, oh no, this is gonna be the night of the week. Every night, the fourth Friday of this month, we're going to, and by the fourth Friday, it was like, yeah, but it would be like that Thursday.
Babe,
I got a call.
they call me about this.
I gotta do, and he was, I call it a negotiation.
Yeah.
Right? Like, but think I could get paid this.
Right.
You know what I mean? Maybe we could.
Yeah, work something out.
Yeah, and I'm really not materialistic. I don't care about the money, so I'm like, I was like, but why? You already knew we had this, so I would be mad as fire. But I mean, at the same time, I'm like, it's income, so I feel like, I guess after a while you begin to look at it like somebody who has a job where they're on call, like a doctor or something. Right. And it's like, if they get it, because sometimes they know ahead and they don't tell you and they forget. That's
right. We have a,
but
yes.
Okay. But then there's those other times where the gigs really just are like right there, and they're like, they really just called me like 5 minutes ago, and
like yes or no, what's up, like
like where they're like, can you do it, because we need you now. And you know, I'm like, it's like an on-call doctor. If my husband was a doctor, or if he was a police officer or somebody where you got to be on call, you'd have to be able to deal with it then. So, you know, you get frustrated. You know, I'm sure there's arguments and stuff about it. But again, that's that communication. Like, well, I just need you to do better. You need to let me know ahead of time, so at least I could.
So it's safe to say we set a standard. What's up, Lisa?
No, I mean, I'm just gonna, because there is sometimes that I'm firm. No, say no. No, we've had this plan. We're doing this. It's this occasion. Yeah. All money ain't good money. Mm-hmm. So there is sometimes where I'm like, no, you need to say no, because again, because it's your household and your family should be high on that list. And you know, if we need time, we've had time scheduled. all money ain't good money.
Yeah.
So you just have to be conscious of that and make good decisions for your house.
So it's safe to say, fellas, if she already got her dress on for the night,
You
It's too
better
late.
take her out.
Oh,
It's
it's,
too late.
real too
you
late.
better catch her before she's dressed.
Or you better give me a ticket too, so I can come at whatever.
Oh
gig
no
you
no no
come.
no! She's
I'm
automatically,
coming in, too.
you know, for the most part, coming through. But my thing is, sometimes, you know, even with that situation, going to the gig, like you can end up, meeting somebody or, you know, whatever. Hey, look, like anybody I can meet, hey, this is my wife. Out the gate, hey, what's up? Nice to meet you, blah, blah, blah. People that other musicians see as like celebrities, you know, it's just like, oh, word. And, you know, my wife just here, just like, yo, what's up? We chilling. It's love, you know what I mean? I respect that, you know, like, I think that's dope. Like, yo, look, I'm glad you came, you know what I mean? So I think that's dope, yeah.
Yeah, and I appreciate E because he's a family man too. I mean, we don't have any kids, but you know, there'll be times where he's like, "No, I'm going out with my wife tonight,"
this
or
is
"I'm
your
sorry, I
family."
can't
Yeah,
do it."
absolutely.
And you know, I respect that. So when it is those times of like, "Yo, we gotta look at the balance here. We got stuff to pay for," and then it's like I can be more willing to be like,
Right.
"Okay," because there
Right.
were times where he has like sacrificed
Right.
for me and for my time. So
Right.
I think it's good.
So I had this little section right here, something new. Like I said, and so for this podcast again, the Musicians Exchange podcast, this is the wives' perspective. I'm doing this a little different. It sounds like a questionnaire somewhat, but it's not. But you know, we getting their perspectives, and I did a little, you know, survey somewhat, you know, from some other females and other, you know, some other females who wanted to know certain questions who aren't married, you know, or are engaged or whatever. One of the questions was, do you feel like you should be invited to every gig your husband has?
I don't feel like it. I don't know that question. So when I think of should, it makes me say like, do you think he has to? Like,
Or do she do?
is that a
or should
requirement?
Should she feel like she has to go to every gig?
no, I don't. I definitely don't. Because honestly, sometimes, and as much as I love hanging with Daniel, sometimes I don't. I want to sit on my couch and watch something on TV, or I want to go have a night playing with the kids and play games, or do something, or
Right.
just sit in the tub. So I might not want to go. So I don't think you have to. Maybe it's nice if he's considering, like, if she needs that, you know, where he say, "Hey, boo, you want to come this time?" You know,
See what I
so,
do.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
maybe
yeah.
offer it up a few times, but I don't think everyone. Nah.
No.
No.
No,
Cross?
I don't think you should have to go to every gig. I don't think he should expect you to go
that could
to
get
every
kinda
gig.
crazy.
You know, because sometimes there's some musicians that feel like, no, you need to be at all my gigs. No, let's be real. And then some gigs, it's not going to be possible for you to go to.
Yeah.
You can't go to somebody's wedding and, you know,
Right.
certain things that they're doing. So
Every
I-
event they don't have comp to.
Right,
Right.
right,
Yeah. I was gonna say
exactly.
some events are paid,
So-
and you gotta pay, and you know, it's just I think it's just situational.
And also, if you are the wife or girlfriend who is setting yourself up for that right now, we just talked about, you know, setting those boundaries or finding what works for you. And you can't really make time for yourself if you're doing everything that he's doing, going to everything that he's doing. So, you know, don't even set yourself up for that. You know, don't start out like you can hold out and.
Yeah,
should-
I didn't go to when Daniel was working at IBM. I didn't go to his job every day.
Right. Like you
If there
Right.
was if there was a luncheon or Christmas dinner or something, I was there, you know. Or if he was just like, "Hey, come in and meet my coworkers for one thing or the other." But you know, I think what we have to do as musicians' wives is look at it from the standpoint of work. They're working. This is their job.
Right.
Like, no, we can't be at everything. I wouldn't. If my husband was a surgeon, I certainly would not be in
Right.
surgery
Right,
with him.
right.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So no.
That's real
I think that's
perspective.
unrealistic. Yeah.
That's real. Well, I had another question. Should your wife feel like she comes second to music?
No,
No.
absolutely not.
No, I think we've kind of addressed that.
Yeah.
No, but
Just wanted
like
to-
Melissa said, it's you
It's
know,
an
it's
order,
God,
too.
it's an order,
Yeah.
and it's family, and no,
Yeah. That's real.
she's there to be a help. She's gonna support you with your music, but she definitely needs to come
Comes first.
before.
That's real. How do you deal with them being away, and does it get easier with time?
Yes it does get easier with time, and it does get easier with time, and I think you just deal with it like it's a vacation. I mean, if he was going on a trip with his boys, you know, you're not going to be there. I think, you know, one thing I could say is having children. For those of you who are thinking about getting married, I'm not saying you got to have kids to fix this, but I'm telling you how it put things into perspective. Right, dogs. It put it into perspective for me was I can't be around my kids all the time. All I know is that I instilled certain things in them, and my expectation is that at some point those things are going to kick in. And it's the same thing with you guys. You guys have communicated. If you have, hopefully you have, get to that place where you can communicate those things, you know, those expectations that you have for each other. And once you have that trust factor built, it's just like if he goes away to visit family on a family reunion that you can't go to, you can't see him, you don't know what he's doing, but you know he loves you, you know he cares for you, so he's just away.
That's when you
working.
take a trip.
Yeah, and I also say like technology has changed so much over time.
Text, right.
You know, like text, call, FaceTime. Like, you know, there are different ways to kind of be there but not be there. Now, it doesn't always make everything perfect. You know, I'm sure for people whose musicians travel a month, 2 months, I don't know how to help you there. But, you know, when it's like a few days, a week, there's some things that, you know, you can do that you couldn't do years ago, you know, to stay connected.
Yeah.
Fun question. Bring it back light. Do you guys ever critique your husband after the show on what they did, what they could have done better? And feel free to call them out on at least one thing.
I will say one thing about that, okay? Yes, I do, but I can never critique him as much as he critiques himself.
That's true.
Good.
So, I mean, he's harder on himself than I can ever be on him. But he's going to ask, you know, baby, what you think? You know, and I'll be real with him, but I can never critique him as much as he critiques himself. So I let him knock himself on down, and then I build him back up.
Yeah.
Again, you know, no, baby, it wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad.
Okay, Mel.
Yes. It could be because a lot of times when he's playing, I'm singing. Right. So just like I was saying earlier, where he'd be like, "What did you do with that note?" I'd be like, "What happened? Did you miss the intro? You forgot it? What were we doing? You know, like, right? Whatever." Or he'd be like, "Man, I couldn't find blah blah blah. I couldn't remember what this was going on. I couldn't remember the transitions, whatever." So we'll talk about it, but I don't ever make it. I don't think it's ever serious where like it's criticized, and it's just kind of like, oh, okay, well, we did that, we gotta do better. It's not, I don't think we've ever like, it's never been like serious. It's just been like, what happened? We gotta do better, you know? Yeah.
Dope.
Well, I'm the serious
Oh,
one.
boy,
I critique Eric, my brothers, if they on the gig too, I let them know, yo, Marcus, what's happening, you know, like, I will do it, and sometimes we do it jokingly, you know, like, when he's over here, there's been times where he's like air drumming or joking around, and I will call him on. I'm like, "Oh, you just missed the one. Like, what happened here?" Like, you know, and he would be.
Told me that.
And he would be so shocked, and I'm like, "What? I knew music before I knew you, you know." And so I can't play the drums, but I can hear it, you know, in the songs, and I think that's also a part of like how we got together and how we stayed together. You know, he critiques me, I critique him, but it's all to make us better. Iron sharpens iron. And so, you know, I'm like, nah, well, what you gonna do next time? You know, or I'm like, how about try this, you know, or, you know, and so I think I love it. I think it is a fun part of our relationship to like see growth, and I think it's nothing wrong with having high expectations and wanting to see your husband growing his craft, and that's what I feel like that I'm doing.
That's real.
That's a good thing.
I've had a few experiences. You know, look, I'm in church. Get off the cymbals. I'm looking like, yo, oh boy. So now I not be conscious, but sometimes I look around. If she even looking at me like, yo, what you doing? I'm like, oh.
Yeah, church. Sometimes people are like, I saw your face today.
Yeah,
like,
she ain't even trying to hide it no more. It's like, nope. Or, you know, we'll ask, you know, yo, how did it go? You know, you could have did this. Like she said, it's cool, it's fun, it's great to hear, and it's something cool when it's coming from somebody who's musically inclined or who's grown to be musically inclined.
And they're honest, and I mean, who better to tell you? You know what I'm saying? I would rather her tell you than somebody else, who doesn't
Ladies,
care
do
about
not lie to your husband about it.
No.
Tell him straight up.
No.
If you messed up on the keys, drums, you missed it by a mile, babe, but get it back.
But that's also with anything in life, you're gonna critique, and but you're also gonna, like you said, build them up,
back up,
and
yeah.
like that. Now this was dope, and I heard that, like you do want to share those moments too, because you're right. It's better for me to critique, but it's also better for me to lift him up, because whatever he's facing out there, I gotta be his covering too, and I have to support him in that too. So. All right, I got one last question. So what are 2 critical things that someone should know before they start dating or marrying a musician? 2 critical things that you think.
Just to,
You could do, I have 3 on. I had 3 in my mind, so if you want to do 3, you can.
Well, Mel seems like she got them together, so I mean, you can start and at least you right.
Critical key things to
He gotta know how to play his instrument.
he should, if I'm marrying a musician, I expect him not. No, I'm just kidding. No, 2 critical things. So, one critical thing is your support is going to be paramount. Like, just with anything else, you're going to need to be patient and understanding to the fact that he doesn't have a regular 9 to 5, and he will be all over the place sometimes, and most musicians are all over the place. I always say my husband has ADHD undiagnosed. I'm always messing with him, but like they are, their thoughts, they're thinking, they're like moving all the time, so you grow patient quickly.
Yeah.
So I would say be very supportive, grow patient quickly. I know Daniel and I have worked on our show together, and when we work on the show, sometimes he'll say stuff and I'm like, afterwards, right? Me and you are gonna have a conversation. Because
The look.
yeah, but what it is that he's in work mode. I gotta go here, I'm doing this with dude, he's orchestrating stuff, so his intention is not to be what he's being, but I be understanding. So just be understanding, patient, and supportive. Patient, supportive.
Right, all of those things. I mean, I would just add to that if you're getting with a musician or you're intending to marry a musician and you think that you are going to keep them from their craft, or you think that you're going to be able to stifle their love for their craft, then you don't need to be with them. Because with a musician, a real musician, it's in their heart. And if you love them, you have to love their craft and what they're doing. So if you think, he's doing all this gigging now, but when we get married, he ain't gonna be doing this, he ain't gonna be doing that. Step back and think about what you're doing, because he's gonna continue to do that, because that's what he has in his heart, his love for music. So if that's not what you want to do, if you don't want to support that, if that's not what you're trying to get into, step back and think about what you're doing.
Yeah, that's good. I will tag on to that one and say, one thing I would say is a key factor is support his dream. Regardless of whatever it is, wherever they want to go with their music career, support that dream, and do all you can to help your husband reach that goal. All it can do is increase his love for you, and all it can do is bring joy and peace to your home when y'all are in line and together with the vision that a man has for his life. So I would say that, and then I would also say my second thing is be secure in yourself and who you are. And I think that helps out with any resentment that I've seen from some of my girls who have built some over time, or any jealousy that I've seen, over time. If you are secure in yourself, you can go to all the gigs you want, and sometimes you can stay home and feel okay about, like you said, going to sleep at night.
Right.
And that's also not going to be all on you. That'll be your husband. To help you feel secure in that way too, because you should be able to trust him, but being secure in who you are, but also supporting his dream. I think those are 2 things for me.
And I will say, I'll piggyback on the back of that. Some tips for the homies, like fellas, don't be scared to get married. It's a blessing. You may not see it right out the gate, you know, but it's definitely a blessing. It builds your communication. I ain't gonna say I got OCD, but I like stuff clean. I like stuff on point. We get it done, timely manner, you know. But at the same time, it's like you learn even more balance, a different type of balance. It's like, yo, I gotta actually communicate with my wife, or, you know, go make this move or this situation, or, you know, wild out with this type of money, you know, or even see if she want to just deal with this music, you know what I mean, like this whole lifestyle. But definitely, you know what I mean, it's a blessing. You can get married. You can do both. You can do both. It's not, you know, a hindrance. And I mean, from even your relationships with your family, it'll even help you. It'll test certain relationships you have outside, whether it be your friends, whether it be your homegirls. I got homegirls, you know what I mean? But they respect it and they understand what it is. They come to the gig. You mess around. My wife would be at the gig with one of my homegirls, you know what I mean? Just chilling. Everybody here supporting, you know what I mean? So it's love. It's not like, oh, she don't like this one, or, you know, is it going to be a headache, or she ain't going to like when I'm studio. Hey, get your studio. Pad the studio up, do what you gotta do, and keep it pushing. It'll increase your communication.
Yeah, and that one small thing is just what's not small is really big. Pray together, you know, and continue to ask God for the vision for your lives together. It's like you said, you know, what is the vision that you see between the two of you all, and just pray for guidance with that. And so using all these things from Mel and Alicia. Then on top of that, pray as well, and that I think that you'll be good.
Well, that's dope. I mean, you know, I think we covered a good amount, you know, of information, knowledge, and for the next generation of, you know, musicians that's considering getting married, artists, anybody, producers, anything in any field where it's going to take up time. And you've already started it before you've been in a relationship. So at the end of the day, I feel like, you know, I appreciate y'all coming through and helping out.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, thank you.
This is dope. So I appreciate it.
No problem. Shout out to Brooklyn, New York, you know.
Boogie down.
Yeah.
Indeed. Stay tuned for another episode of Musicians Exchange Podcast.